Hello, my River Landing family. I decided that it was probably appropriate today to come to you and update you on some of the things that have happened in the last 24 hours. A couple of things I want to talk about that have come up were things that we talked about during our churn show yesterday, but I realized that not everybody got a chance to see that yesterday. So let me get you all caught up. The first thing is, I think most of you know this, that we had two residents in our healthcare center who tested positive for COVID last week. Of those two residents, one is doing very well and is asymptomatic. Unfortunately, the other one isn't doing as well and is in the hospital. And so my first request of you all is to be praying for this resident and her family. Um, and that's the power of prayer is very important. So I am asking you all to be praying for her. The second situation that I want to bring to your attention is, and again, I mentioned this, or we mentioned this yesterday on the Churn Show, was that we have an independent living couple that's here that apparently have attracted COVID while they were away on Thanksgiving holiday. Now, the good news is they had quarantine when they came back from Thanksgiving, so there aren't any other residents that are connected with them that we have to quarantine at that point. But both of these residents now are in the hospital. So, and this is an independent living. So I would really like to ask your a request again to pray for them as well. And we are hoping and praying that they are able to work past this. The third thing, which was not brought out on the show yesterday, but has happened since the show, was that we were informed by another independent living resident couple here at River Landing that they had come into contact with a family member on Saturday who later tested positive for COVID. And I want to say thank you to that couple for doing that. Because they could have not said anything to us and taken a risk that that they had gotten it and had passed it on to everybody else, but instead they chose to be honest about it and let us know, and we're grateful for that. The hard part about that is that this couple has since Saturday, this couple has been with a lot of other residents and a lot of activities. And so when we looked at the ripple effect of this, we have over 40 residents now that we had to put in a 2-week quarantine at this point because of the situation. Now, again, I'd like to emphasize that this couple didn't have to come to us and tell us. In my opinion, they did the right thing. They came to us and told us that. So I know that our society likes to blame people, but let's not blame these people. We're a family here. We need to work through issues and problems that come up. That happens all the time, whether you see it or not here at River Landing. It happens all the time. It's part of the job that we have here. And so, I'm very thankful that they brought it to our attention. And for the 40-some that are on quarantine, I'm sorry that you have to go through this, but I think you need to make sure you have the right perspective when it comes to this. What we have done here at River Landing is a little different than what our sister communities are even doing. We could be like our sister communities. We could be more of a closed down community. We didn't have to open up the dining. We didn't have to open up the wellness center. We didn't have to allow guests to come in or visitors to come in. And we could have told you can't go out and visit family members. So we didn't do those. I think our thought there was we wanted to have some balance. We wanted to be able to have a little bit of a shared risk there with the opportunity that, if you are doing these things, that you are doing your best to protect yourselves and others as you're doing these things. So, I would rather have it that way, to be honest with you. The way I look at it is these residents that might have to quarantine now for the next 2 weeks, well, if we shut the community down, it's kind of like you're quarantining for months at an end. We all went through that back in March, April, and May before the governor allowed us to open up our restaurants. You all remember that. So So do remember this. We're trying to strike a balance here. That's our goal. But because we are a little bit liberal in what we're doing here in regards to being open, these situations are going to happen from time to time. So the other point I want to make about this, and then I'm going to stop talking about it, is that we need to have a sense of understanding when a staff member calls and lets you know bad information. We know that the initial reaction from residents sometimes is to strike out, but I was a little disappointed last night in some of the couples and some of the folks that got notified about having to do the quarantine. One of our staff members was beat up on pretty good last night by several folks, and all she was doing was being the messenger. And so we need to be taking things in stride. And I know this is really hard right now because COVID's really affected everybody's lives in a somewhat negative way. But let's not shoot the messenger, okay? We're all trying to do the best we can here to make this go until we can get this vaccine. And the vaccine is close. I mean, you all are watching the news just like I am. We're getting closer and closer to that point. So I'm asking you to please take the time to understand what our situation is and help us protect the community. And let's treat each other like we would want to be treated, like the old golden rule, right? Treat others as you would want to be treated. So that's really my message today. I do also want to tell you some good news. We did our testing of residents and staff in the skilled nursing last week or this week, and I'm really happy to tell you we had no positives from residents or staff. That is, to me, that's a miracle, considering that we had Thanksgiving just 2 weeks ago. So that's really great. We're very excited about that part of it. You know that we've got the Christmas holidays coming up here soon, and so we're going to be looking at our regulations for what we're going to do for Christmas as far as visitations, people leaving the community, and quarantining. We did this with the Thanksgiving holiday. We did an honor system with people that went and visited family members or had family members here and asked them to do the mini quarantining. And I'm just going to say, it didn't go very well. We had a lot of residents that just didn't pay any attention to our request. And we have come to know that now that has happened a lot. So Christmas is going to be different. We're going to have a different set of requirements. And so we'll have more of that next week. We're going to be planning on putting something out the beginning of next week. And then probably on our show, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But you can be expecting that. But I'll just finish with saying that, we really do love you all very much here. We're feeling our way through this process with the COVID thing. We are very fortunate because we have a corporate office that is supporting us. A lot of the decision making we had to make with the quarantines actually were protocol from our corporate office. It wasn't even things that we actually generated here. But we're very fortunate to have each other. We're very fortunate to have River Landing. Let's remember the good stuff. Let's try and forget the bad stuff. If you got to quarantine, you quarantine. Do it 2 weeks. Let's get out of it. And let's try and survive here until we can get back to where we were pre-COVID. So I'm going to shut up now and get off my soapbox. But if you have questions about what I said, please feel free to reach out to me or Lisa. But we love you all and we care about you, and that's the reason why I really wanted to send this message again today. Thank you.